to the Backlog, a podcast hosted by Adaptivate. I'm Karen Chan, Senior Agile Coach. Adaptivate partners with clients to accelerate outcomes by implementing new transformative ways of working. We are a global firm with offices in North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. At Adaptivate, we are proud supporters of Pledge 1%, which is an amazing organization that encourages corporate philanthropy in the form of time, education, and resources. In this spirit, our guest today is Susan McGovern, Vice President of External Relations and Advancement at Ontario Tech U. We're going to talk about an innovative program called Women for STEM. Welcome, Sue, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Karen. Thanks for inviting me, and I'm excited to talk about our Women for STEM program at Ontario Tech.
Let's start with Ontario Tech U and your role there.
So my role is quite large, actually. I have external relations and advancement, and external relations is partnerships for corporations and industry, communications, marketing, government relations, and that I also cover issues management. That happens around universities, believe it or not. And then on the advancement side, I take care of the foundation, which is basically raising money for the university, and with our also coordinating with our alumni students to keep them ever connected all the way through their life with Ontario Tech. It's good. It's a great portfolio, actually. A lot of external facing things.
And because Ontario Tech U is one of the newer universities here in Ontario, it's pretty exciting. There's that excitement of being new and the students, as part of something new. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It is. Sure. We started in 2003. So, most universities are 150, 200 years old. We like to say that our original president is still alive and well and comes to the university, our founding president. There's not another university that can say that. We've grown to 10,000 students. We are all science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're really focused on having students, as they graduate, be ready for industry and to make a real impact in the world. And we are all about technology. So the way the world has gone, and really before the pandemic, we'll try not to talk about the pandemic through this, but before the pandemic, we really started to focus on technology, and we're at the cutting edge of that. And our students are, they're fantastic, actually, 10,000 of them in 7 faculties.
I do think that's rather unique of Ontario Tech U because of the focus with technology. They're able to pivot very quickly to bring more agility and to respond more quickly.
And because we're a small university with less students, our students work very closely with industry, and they work very closely with the professors. They all know their deans. I went to a larger university, and I can tell you, you probably only got to know your dean when you got in trouble. But at our university, they're very close with their professors and deans, which is nice. They help them along a lot, and they learn about research as well.
And now about Women for STEM. Can you explain what that is?
Great. Women for STEM program. It's something that we launched just 4 years ago at Ontario Tech, and it is designed to attract women into STEM program, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. We'll just call it STEM. Universities, STEM universities traditionally have way more men than they have women in these programs. So we started the program in 2018, and it has 3 major pillars. The first pillar is scholarships. So we financially support our students. More important now during the pandemic because a lot of them didn't have jobs. And they get $5,000 to come into a STEM program in first year. And then we provide them with additional scholarships in second, third, and fourth year. And the entire scholarship package is worth about $11,000. So that's a lot. That's a good sized scholarship. The second pillar is a really important one, which is the mentorship pillar. And that is women in STEM, like yourself, Karen, or like me, mentor these young students. And it helps us bring industry in. So if you say, for instance, work for Ontario Power Generation or Bruce Nuclear, you can mentor one of our young nuclear engineering students, and it provides an opportunity for the student to understand what the real world's like, to meet some people once COVID is over, to go to some events and actually have some great face time. And then the third thing is to celebrate all of the things that we do and promote the success of women in STEM. And if we promote it, it means that students will continue to come back in Women for STEM. And then we also have a summit each year, which I know Karen helps us with, which is great. You're on our Women for STEM Council. And the summit brings together industry and business leaders to talk and work with our students, understand what the university is about, and help us encourage more women into the STEM programs. And it's been a success, and we're excited about it. And our students really, really love it. So we'll be graduating the first cohort of Women for STEM I guess, next year, which is sort of exciting. It is.
Yeah, it's super exciting to have been part of it before, like at the start, when we kicked it off, that first cohort, that second cohort, and now, yeah, seeing them starting to graduate, it's pretty exciting. We talked a little bit about what the program is, and we touched on why it's created, but can we expand a little bit more on why this program specifically about women in STEM was created?
Well, it was created to attract more women into the STEM program. Right now, our engineering program is about 9% women, and it's just not high enough. I came from the age, I think maybe you're a little younger, Karen, but I came from the age where we weren't encouraged to go into science, technology, engineering, and math. Those were traditionally male programs. When our women do come into our STEM programs, they need some encouragement and they need some support so that they stay there and that they feel comfortable. And we've actually, I know it's not part of the Women for STEM program, but we have some summer camps at our university, and they're all science, technology, engineering, and math summer camps. The robotics one, it's attracted a ton of young girls, 12, 10, 7 years old. And getting them in that early means that they will continue to be interested in the STEM programs, come to our university as a STEM student, and then we're able, through the Women for STEM program, to launch them out into the real world and be successful. And hopefully they will then come back and mentor students in the years to come as they do well in their STEM fields of study or STEM fields of work.
I think it's so important to have that excitement build on each other. Like my daughter has come to the STEM programs in the summer, and I think during March break as well, and she really loved it. So
I didn't know she was here. Yeah, and we find that the young girls, they're giving the young boys a run for their money and things that traditionally people, the generation before, would think were just for boys. And they love robotics. They love the engineering programs. They build race cars and race them up and down the halls of the university during their summer program. If that doesn't get you interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, nothing will. So it's that works really well. And then the 3 pillars are very important because, again, it provides additional financial support to the students. A lot of our students are first generation. So families have come here. And it's hard when you move to another country. So any financial support that they get from the community is great. And it means they spend more time studying, a little less time on their part-time jobs, or maybe they can drop one of their 2 or 3 part-time jobs and just be more comfortable and do better. So it's a great program, and that's why we created it.
What I found really unique about this program is that it combines the scholarship and the mentorship. It's not just the financial alleviation of that burden, but it's also helping to develop those skills as these women move forward through their academic career and then afterwards as well.
Yeah, and if I look at, I agree with you, Karen, if I look at the Women for STEM program, if I had to pick my favorite, I would say it's the mentorship portion. I think that's something that will help you through longevity, right? It'll help you through your career, and I think that mentorship gives you the confidence to mentor other women in STEM years down the road as you become more confident in your career. So that's really important. And you and I have both watched some of our students with their mentors and watch how they've come out of their shell and they're sort of forward thinking and they aren't afraid to walk up and shake somebody's hand and brag about what they're doing in STEM. And when we brought some of the students in, they were sort of back against the wall and not quite sure. And their mentor brings them to different events and talks to them and spends time with them and helps them with their career and aspirations. And that's worth, to me, that's worth more than financial assistance. Honestly, I think in the long run it is. It's good. It's exciting.
So what is the impact that you're making right now?
Well, the impact we're making right now is we are trying to get more women into STEM. We've moved about 1% up in the engineering programs. I think the same in the science technology programs as well. That doesn't sound like a huge impact, but it actually is. And that, I think also, to me, the biggest impact, and we'll see it in a year, is that we've prepared those women to graduate, and we've prepared them to be confident and to go and apply for a job at Bruce Power, go and apply for a job at Ontario Hydro, OPG, Google, go and apply somewhere that was maybe traditionally a man's world. And I think that to me will show the biggest success, that they can go out there and they feel confident to do it and that they actually can do it, and they will.
For sure. One of the things I
Yeah.
really like about this, I mean, my tie into Women for STEM is really through engineering. And so hearing that number move, even if it's only percent, it's a positive move. And it works towards Engineers Canada goal 30 by 30, which is 30% of the professional engineering licensees be 30% women by 2030. And over the last, since I was an undergraduate, I think it's only been about 12% to 17, maybe we're up to 17% now of women. And so I graduated from university, I graduated from engineering about 20 years ago. So to see only 5% of movement in like 20 years, to have 1% movement in 1 year is, I think, pretty positive looking at the grander scheme of things. So I think that's great.
That's good. That's a good thing to know. I was in a completely male dominated field, and in first year, the 200 or 190 people in the class, there was 6 women. By the time you're at the second or third year, there was 3 of us left. Survived a bit better, but I do know that some of the females left because it was difficult. Anyway, so that's interesting. We're just going to try and keep moving that needle. But I really do think that the biggest legacy will be that we prepare them to do well and to be confident. And if we see them coming back as mentors, Karen, if they come back and do my job and go on the council like you've so graciously offered your expertise and time, then I think we've really done really, really well, because that means that did them well and they want to come and give back. So I think that's good. We'll see it.
That leads to my next question. What legacy do you want this program to have?
Well, we want the program to increase the numbers. That's the legacy. And we want our students to, as I said, go out there and be confident. University has to be more than just studying and doing well in your exam and walking across the stage and going to get your job. It's all about life. It's about your social life, your physical life. It's about everything. So we didn't actually create an endowment program. We created a scholarship program, which means the financial assistance we get in goes out, because we only want this to be sort of for 10 years. And then as I say that, I think as we increase those numbers, 10 years from now, I think the program, I guess we should whisper it, but I think the program will be so successful. I don't think we'll ever give it up, because merely of the mentoring part, that there's women in STEM working in science, technology, engineering, and math companies that will come and help our students understand what those companies are like, and help them understand, is that where they really want to go? You know, you might have taken an engineering program, you might have graduated from it, but you might decide you don't want to work in an engineering company. You might want to work in something completely different. That's okay. And you need that mentorship to help you make those decisions. So I think, you know, the donating to it and supporting it financially is a big part, but I really think the mentorship is our biggest tick off the box at the end of this.
Aside from attending the summit, which is happening in October, or donating to the fund, what are your closing thoughts on how we can support women in STEM?
There's a few things. I think if you know any young women who are grade 7, grade 8, because that's the age we need to, actually it's younger than that. I think it's grade 2 or grade 3. But by grade 7 or grade 8, they're starting to think about high school. They're starting to think about what academic stream they want to take. Start talking to them and exposing them to science, technology, engineering, and math programs. Send your kids to summer camps. Most universities have them. Maybe get them interested with an individual who works in that field now, and just make young girls understand that the door is completely open for them, and they can excel in that as well as anybody can. And the younger you get them, the more likely we are to increase those numbers over the next 10 years. So that, and financially support, and bring your, and if people and companies can't financially support our Women for STEM program, then put your hand up to be a mentor. We don't hook you for your life. Like 1 or 2 years, 4, you can stay as long as you want, but every advice that you give a young budding STEM program student will really help them. So those are the 2 biggest things I would say. And join our summit in October. You can go online to ontariotechu.ca. We'll advertise the summit, and because it's virtual again this year, you'll be able to pop in and pop out as we have different speakers. And it's interesting, and some of our STEM students go up as well and talk about the STEM program. And you work on, maybe you want to say something about the program, actually.
Well, the first cohort of scholarship recipients was in the same year that we had the first summit. And
Right.
so I remember meeting some of the students, and they were very shy. They just started university. It's now this huge event with lots of people, especially organizations that funded their scholarship. So, very grateful, very thankful, but very overwhelmed as well. And then a year later, at our second summit, and now they are, in our first cohort, but now in their second year of the program, the confidence that I saw, like it was confidence, right? They were a bit more articulate. They were, they're happy to talk. Put them in front of a video camera to do a 2-minute interview, no problem. Whereas the year previous, deers and headlights, right? So it's pretty amazing to see the difference that 1 year has made with this program. And so I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen when they graduate and after they graduate, when they're able to start making that impact on the world, when their learning is kind of done, the formal learning is done, and they can now start doing. I think that's going to be really, really exciting to see.
I completely agree with that. And the first cohort will graduate in 22, 23. So Karen, we need to remember this when we have our Women for STEM meeting. We should, at convocation, because I'm partly responsible for events as well. I'm responsible for events, so convocation is one of them. And we should celebrate the graduating class of the Women for STEM, because that will be 22, 23. That will be a great celebration. And maybe they'll come back and mentor. Who knows? They'll need to. Well, we're gonna make them.
We're building a community, right?
So. Yeah, we are building a community. At a young university, we need to do that. Anyway, thank you again for being part of our Women for STEM Council. We appreciate it. We need women like you to help. So it's great.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking me to be a part of it. It's been a great way to give back. I've been volunteering with the university for 10 years, mainly again through the Faculty of Engineering. So be able to support a program like this that is more than just engineering. I mean, STEM is more than just the E in engineering. It's really about having opportunity and looking at that potential. So when I look at this program, it's really about helping students achieve their potential, to see what opportunities there are and really achieve that potential. But on the flip side, it's not just all purely for the students, for the mentors too, for the professionals. It's a way to give back. It's a way to learn from our students as well. I mean, mentoring is never really a one-way relationship. To continue to grow and just be part of that, it's exciting to know that you're part of someone's journey and part of their growth,
It is. And to watch them and 4 years seems like a long time. It's not. It's fast. So you get to watch your student walk across the stage quite quickly, which is nice. Another thing that's good for the students, the female students, women in STEM, is that instead of just being stuck in their faculty and only meeting women in that faculty, Women for STEM has introduced the faculties, they know each other across faculties. So you'll have an engineering student that now, has a social relationship with a student in the Faculty of Business and IT. And, two ends of the university, they would have seen each other, but now they're friends and they know each other. So that's been another benefit for the Women for STEM students. Yeah.
I think that actually also helps them for like post-university life too, because when you finish school, when you're in your first job, you're not necessarily bound by your own team, right? You have to learn how to flex and work with others from different departments, different parts of the organization, and they may not have the same technical background or academic background that you do. So being able to flex, knowing how to build relationships, like that's really what it is. Knowing how to build relationships and learn from each other is really important. So I think it's great that we're building these skills now.
We are. And the students, you said they get much better. You'll recall the first student who, remember on the first summit, I dragged her up I said, you're going to talk. And she was like, I can't. I said, you're going to do it. Just write down what you want to say. So I just mentored her, right? She wrote down what she wanted to say. She went up there. She did a fantastic job. She was terrified. I cannot keep her away from a camera now. So that really brought this confidence in her. And she's always like, I'll talk on the camera. But it's great. She didn't have that skill when she got there. And she got up there. She was encouraged to do it. She enjoyed it. Everybody clapped. It just brought something out in her. She loves it now, which is great, right? It's done. She'll be able to, whatever company she works for, she will be able to go and speak on their behalf and be maybe their media person and do a great job at it. So, right, here's one great thing she learned that had nothing to do with engineering.
Well, anyway. It's giving the students a safe place to learn and practice, right? Because like it's always terrifying the first time, but the more you do it, it might not be perfect. it's never really perfect. But the more you practice, the less scary it is. And then it becomes normal, right? So to be able to speak with confidence is an incredibly important skill.
It is.
Uh, Before we sign off, any final words of wisdom? And do you have any podcast recommendations?
Final words of wisdom is find a young girl and encourage her to take a good hard look at STEM programs, because there's some fantastic careers out there. Non-STEM is just as great, but our focus for women in STEM is to try and get more women into STEM. So I would say that's my parting words. Do that. Go and take a look at our STEM program at the university at ontariotechu.ca. Help us any way you can. Mentor, as we said, financially support, come to the summit. There's all kinds of things you can do. And I guess a podcast, I think podcasts should be about maybe your winding down time. So for me, I like cooking and being creative. I like decorating and I like art and I love cooking. Those would be my podcasts that I would watch. Or I'd watch this one of you and I, because it's been actually quite fun to do. So maybe I'll get more into podcasts now. I probably should. So I think it should be a fun thing to do a podcast.
Thank you so much for being here, Sue. I really appreciate you being here and taking the time. I also appreciate the opportunity that Adaptivate has given me to highlight women for STEM, which is something that is very close to my heart. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the Backlog and leave a review. You can find Adaptivate on social media, including LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay.